So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be covering our conjunction of Mercury and Venus and what happens when Mercury and Venus are in the same sign and the same house in your horoscope, which is known as a conjunction. It's a union of planets, okay? And as always, if you do not know where your Venus and Mercury are placed, if you have this conjunction, all the other conjunctions that you're having, for that, check out the links here and check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, and Aspects of the Speed of Light, including my new magazine on destiny and careers at this link here, and especially my conjunction book. You will have 2 all the way to 8 planetary conjunction meanings. So you'll know exactly how to read a conjunction, what the conjunctions mean, okay? Because there is a method to read a conjunction. You can't just, go online and just read a meaning of a conjunction and be like, okay, that's what it means. It means that, but there's layers to it, okay? So before we discuss this, let's discuss the planets. What is Mercury? Okay, Mercury is the quickest planet in its rotation, and Mercury represents mainly speech. It represents your intelligence, memory, analytical and logical intelligence, communication skills, from verbal communication to literary communication. So writers are seen from this and public speakers are seen from this. Mercury simply represents communication of all kinds. Mercury is also a counselor and advisor. Mercury is like Jupiter, where Jupiter becomes a spiritual advisor. Mercury is more of a realistic advisor. He becomes a money manager. He becomes a lawyer. He advises you on the law, on the finance, any kind of realistic like management, supervision, all of these things are represented by Mercury. And Mercury is also, somebody who's good at announcing things, marketing things. So Mercury is a natural marketer. He takes one message from one thing to another place. Okay, usually it was a prince who took the king's message, his dad's message, to the other kingdom. Then what is Venus? Venus represents beauty, luxury, most importantly, relationships of all kinds. It represents arts, creativity, art history. It represents our ability to relate to other people. It is our way to experience the conveniences in this life. What kind of conveniences do you like in this life? Some people are into cars. Some people are not into cars. Like me, I wouldn't have a clue. I do now, but before when people said, "Oh, I have a BMW 328i," or "I have a BMW 740," I'm like, "What does that mean?" And my friends were all like into these code names. I'm like, whatever. Once I grew older, then I'm like, okay, well, I need a car. Oh, I have a Toyota Corolla. Oh, that's what it means. It's like, so some people are into these things, some people are not. And that's where it differentiates the meaning. What is convenient to you? For me, conveniency and luxury was playing basketball, was being out there in the playground and just being competitive. For some people, it's cars. They have those car magazines. They go to the car shows, and I just couldn't ever understand it. That's what Venus is. It represents our love and passion in this life. So what happens when these two energies come together? Well, Venus and Mercury conjunction is actually one of the most common conjunctions. Usually more than 38% people might have this conjunction. But conjunction, first of all, depends on how close the 2 planets are. If there's a 0 to 15 degree difference between the planets, that's considered a pretty good conjunction. It's like if your Mercury and Venus are 1 degree apart, very tight conjunction. If they're 10 degrees apart, still a conjunction, but quite light. 15 degree conjunction, okay, we're getting a little bit further away. And if Mercury's at 1 degree and Venus is at 27 degrees, then not really a conjunction, very light effect, okay? But this conjunction really shows a person who is very creative, very charming, somebody who likes to express themselves communicatively in a very creative way. Somebody who has natural artistic talent within them depending upon the house that where this conjunction is sitting in. Because remember, Mercury represents our speech skills, our mimicking skills. Venus represents creativity, arts, media, cinema. So these people have very good talent towards cinema, acting. They're able to mimic anybody. They're able to mimic, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all the way to, Sylvester Stallone, So it's this natural skills that they get. They're able to, is the best meaning of this conjunction is that they can charm their way into getting what they want. They're the ones who can, talk to any woman or talk to any man and just somehow swindle them through their communication. And for them, everything becomes a creative game. So let's say they have to tackle a math problem for their test. For them, instead of imagining, just reading about the calculations, let's say in calculus, you are trying to determine, what, if a car is coming at this speed and you're here walking at this speed, how long will it'll take for the car to come to you. For them, they will not simply just do the mathematical calculation. They will actually imagine like the car coming in the mountains and you're going on your bike downhill, and they'll imagine the sunset and the bushes around you and the hills and the torrents and canyons. So then they can really see, and they can see the driver speeding on the speedometer. He's going from 50 miles to now 65 miles an hour. You're coming close. That's how their mind works then. That's how their intelligence works, pretty much. Like any problem they tackle, they imagine it right away. Like, if they have to go towards selling something to someone as a salesman, they will be extremely creative. So they have this creative charm that people just love about them. They're like, wow, I just love communicating with this person. Wow, I love talking to this person. This person is naturally just gifted with something. Like when Venus, Mercury are tidally conjunct, people just think that, man, they're just, somehow they are gifted in something. I'll discover it later, what it is. And usually it's in the most creative of the realm. Now, in this conjunction also, what matters is, if a planet holds the highest and the lowest degree. If a planet holds the lowest degree, it has the most important say, as I've told you in my book and in my previous conjunction. So let's discuss when Mercury holds the highest degree versus Venus holding the highest degree and the other one's holding the lowest degrees. Okay. So let's say if you have a Mercury-Venus conjunction with Mercury holding the lowest degrees. So let's say if your Mercury is at 10 degrees and Venus is at 12 degrees, 15 degrees, 17 degrees. So what's happening is Mercury is holding the lowest degrees. That means he is having the most important say in the conjunction. He's the one that is controlling the entire conjunction from the bottom. And pretty much what you can just imagine the Venus, the energy of Venus sitting on the throne of Mercury. So what happens is, for these people, romance and love starts with communications first. For them, communication, whether verbal, written, becomes the most important when it comes to a romantic love life, creating relationships with other people. Any kind of relationship, doesn't even have to be romantic. I mean, this is a relationship with your boss, your coworker, anybody. For them, communication becomes most important. That if you're not able to have a conversation with them, if you're not able to engage in talking with them or texting with them back and forth, forget it. These people are not going to be interested in talking to you. Some people, let's say if two people get together who are not very talkative, communicative, they're the ones who kind of like, okay, hey, hi, how are you? They talk about the most driest of things and they meet up. They're like, okay, let's meet for coffee. And then they talk, and then maybe they'll have that spark of, those two negative creating something big. But these people are like, look, if I cannot have a conversation with you over the phone, email, or text, sorry, I don't think it's going to work out, because if we're not communicating now, I bet you we're not going to communicate when we meet. So anything that they deal with in terms of relationships, including creativity, including their ability to express themselves creatively, is all about communication. These are the actors who will have the longest of dialogues, because for them to express themselves through their acting skills, they have to speak. Some actors are very good at just expressions. You talking to me? And then there's this, scene, I don't know if you have seen Christmas Vacation. If you haven't, look at my Facebook page. You'll know what I'm talking about. In that movie, there's a scene with Chevy Chase where he just gets angry at his boss. In the end, he says, well, that low life, blah, 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 monkey looking this, the little piece of... He keeps going. That's the two difference. Like, one can get you with their expression. One has to just speak to make that happen. So that's what happens with Mercury holding the lowest degrees. Now, let's say if Venus holds the lowest degrees. When Venus holds the lowest degrees and Mercury holds the highest degree, meaning Mercury is sitting on the throne of Venus. And what happens is that whenever they communicate with people, there's a certain charm to them. There's a certain beauty and certain creative way to communicate with them. So for these people, when Venus is holding the lowest degrees, it pretty much shows that they have this calm nature when they talk, when they communicate with people. There is a conversation and rhythm of creativity. When they talk, they can make creative conversation, creative emails and text when they talk to you. There's no aggressiveness in talking. These are the people who just love to talk about arts, beauty, creativity, cinema. So Venus, what it does, it calms the nature of Mercury down. Venus makes this person more elegant in their approach to communication, in their intelligence. What happens is, Mercury is your intelligence, like your analytical, logical intelligence. Like, okay, I have this stick and I have this, pool table ball. Mercury is the one who will suddenly make this connection that, oh, that's right, I have to take the stick and, launch the ball with it. So that's what Mercury is. And then when Venus is conjunct Mercury, what happens is that their creative, analytical, logical intelligence comes through creativity. So when they look at that ball and the stick, they will actually approach it in a more creative way. They're like, wow, so you just hit the shot. Okay, let me be creative with this. Let's see if I can do the zigzag and then, hit the ball. Let me paint this ball and this stick. They look pretty good with their color. Oh, I love the color arrangement of all the balls. So they use their creative imagination to deal with every logical and analytical things in this life. It's kind of like Mercury being in Pisces. That's the best explanation, where their source of intelligence comes from a very creative, imaginative source. Okay? So guys, this was my analysis of Mercury-Venus conjunction in astrology. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, if you want to know where your moon is placed, where other conjunctions you're having, all the meanings for them, including my consultations, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow.